In today's lesson, we are going to work on dividing fractions by fractions using models. It's really neat to see how the models show you the answer. I never learned these when I was in school, but I really do like how they just show you the answer. We'll work into where we're not using models anymore. But right now, I want you to follow the model method because it really is kind of neat. Okay, let's start with 8/9 divided by 2/9. Okay, we have some steps that we're going to follow anytime we do a division divided by division and we're showing a model. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw like a tape diagram. So I'm going to draw a tape diagram here. And I am going to divide this tape diagram into 9 pieces because 9 is in the denominator. Okay, you always want to check and make sure that the denominators are the same, and in these first examples they will be. In the last few examples they won't be. Okay, so we want to divide it into 9 equal pieces, or fairly equal. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. About 9 equal pieces there. Then you're going to shade in, and I'm going to use my pencil because it's a good shader. You're going to shade in 8/9 because that's what we're starting with. So I'm going to shade in 8 out of the 9 boxes that I drew. That can just be a rough shade. If you draw your tape diagram with a pencil, and then you draw your lines this way, and then you shade it in like this, we can't tell where those lines are. It makes it very difficult. That's why I like to shade it at an angle so that I can still see the lines. And the fact that I'm doing it with a pen and a pencil shows you then you can really see those lines to really understand it. I would like for you to use just pencil because that way if we make a mistake we can always erase. Okay, so I shade in 8 out of the 9 because of my dividend, my first number. Okay, then to find my answer, I am going to circle in groups of 2/9. So 2/9 is my divisor, my second number, so I'm going to circle groups of 2. Let me mark real fast. This is 8/9, so you can see. And I don't always mark, but I'm going to do it for our examples. 8/9 is that much. I'm going to circle in groups of 2/9. So this is 2/9 and 2/9, and this is 2/9. And you don't have to label the bottom, but this is telling myself for my notes. In my ISN, it's telling me that I'm circling in groups of 2/9. Okay? Now, I ended up with exactly enough. I don't have any left over. My answer is how many circles do I have? My answer is 4. So 8/9 divided by 2/9 equals 4 because I have 4 circles. Cool. I love how that shows me the answer. Okay, let's take a look at another example. This is example 2. We're going to do the same thing. Okay, same thing. So let's draw a model, and this time our model needs to have 12 pieces. Not super perfect. That's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12. You put 11 lines and you get 12 in the middle. Okay, remember I'm going to shade in based on the numerator of my dividend, my first number. So I'm going to shade in 9 boxes. A lot of times we want to just shade this way, but then it does look hard. It is harder than to see the picture. So I'm going to shade each one individually just because it is so much easier to see. I'm going to make sure I have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't want any more or any less. I have to start with 9. All right, then I'm going to circle in groups of 3. Oh, I was going to do this for my example. On my last one, I won't do this. My last one, I will just show you how I would normally do it. Okay, this is 9/12. And I'm going to circle in groups of 3/12. So here's 1, 2, 3. And again, I have no shaded boxes left over. My answer is however many circles I have, and it looks like I have 3 circles. 9/12 divided into 3/12 is 3. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Let's take a look at example 3. This time I won't draw the thing on top. I'll just show you how I solve it. Plus, this one's a little bit different. Okay, starting the same way. Okay, I have drawn out some steps. So let's follow these steps as we go. We're going to draw a tape diagram based on the denominator, which is 9. So let's do that first. I'm going to move the steps out of my way. Oops. Okay. Tape diagram based on the denominator of 9. So 9 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, step 2, and I'm going to leave these up for just a moment so you can put them in your ISN in a moment. We're going to shade the boxes based on the numerator of the dividend, or the first number. So based on the numerator here, I'm going to shade in 7 boxes. Make sure you have 7. I know I have 2 left over, but maybe I did too many boxes or too few boxes. All right, this is where I move on to the next one. I'm going to circle in groups based on the numerator of the divisor, the second number. So I'm going to circle in groups of 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't have enough to circle 3, so I'm not going to circle anymore. I don't want to circle it by itself. Now, one thing as I was circling that I wanted to remind you of, I've noticed this in the past. Let's say I have these boxes and they're all shaded in. Okay, if you circle, see here's I'll draw my lines a little better because it's hard to see when you don't shade very well. Okay, if I'm circling in groups of 2, let's say I'm circling in groups of 2, and my circle comes halfway into here, I sometimes will get confused if I've already circled it or if I haven't circled it. So when I circle, I try to make my circles real nice and neat, and they cross right on a line here. And this one is right on the line, so I don't get into the next one and lose track of counting or circling the wrong number, because that will affect your answer when you go to find your answer. Okay, 2 circles tells me I have a whole number of 2. So in my answer, I have a whole number of 2 because there are 2 whole circles. Now, the question that you ask yourself now is how many squares does it take to make a circle? My answer is 3. So my denominator in my answer is going to be 3 because it takes 3 of them to make a whole. Out of the next 3, I only have 1. So my answer is 2 whole circles and 1/3 of the next circle because it takes 3. If it took 2, let's go back up here. Let's see, was I circling in 2s? Oh, here we go. Okay, I was circling in 2s. Let's pretend I had this one shaded. I would be left with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 out of the 2 it takes. So I would have a half. So my fraction then on my answer would be out of 2 because it takes 2 to make a whole circle. Okay, on this one it took 3 to make a whole circle. So I have 1 part out of 3. 1 part out of 3. Okay, a little bit tricky. That's the first part of our video. If there's any questions you have on that first part, please put them in your ISN. I would like for you to pause the video and put these steps in your ISN because these steps are going to be used for all problems. We'll add a step kind of at the top of our problem. So if you want to leave some space at the top for one extra note that you'll need for certain specific problems, that'd be great. But please copy these, pause the video, copy these into your ISN for your reference. Okay, moving on to our next examples. these examples do not have a common denominator. So that's going to be our extra step that we want to add in later. Okay, so we have our steps here, and our new step is going to be up here. So I'm going to put a star. This is just that extra, if you need it, do it. So it's going to be find common denominator. If it has one, you just move on to these 3 numbered steps. If it doesn't, do it first, and then everything is the same. Okay, so let's look at example 1. Molly purchased 11/8 cups of strawberries. I'm not sure that strawberries are measured that way at the store, but you never know. She purchased 11/8 cups of strawberries. If she eats 2/8 cups per serving, how many servings does Molly have? We need to use a model to prove our answer. Okay, well, it looks to me like we have a common denominator. So that's great. So we can go ahead and start on step 1, which is draw the tape diagram based on the denominator. So I'm going to draw 8s. Now this one is going to be a little bit different than our others because there is more than 8 8s. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw a tape diagram of 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to draw another tape diagram, not connected, because we only have 8 8s and we need 11. So I would like to number these. That's something that I forgot I used to do. 2 8s, 3 8s, 4 8s. This would help me so that I know where to color, what to shade in. All right, I don't have enough, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to draw a whole nother 8s, or they're not really 8s. If I only draw a couple boxes, then it's like 2. So it's like half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so here's 9 8s, 10 8s, 11 8s. If I only stop there, that's really only 3, so that would be thirds instead of 8s. To make them 8s, I gotta go all the way to 8. And 16 8s. Okay, so we have all the 8s that we need. We knew that this wasn't enough because we needed at least 11. So we're going to do 8. If that's not enough, we do 8 more. And if we have that number that we're needing in there, we don't have to do any more. Okay, now again, we're going to follow step 2. We're going to shade boxes based on the numerator of the dividend. Okay, so I'm going to shade up to 11 8s, and sometimes that's how I did it. If I number it on the bottom, I can start there, and now I don't have to think. I could just go backwards and shade them all in. I don't have to count as I go. I don't have to go back and make sure. As long as I numbered them correctly, I should have plenty. Okay. So the more you do it, the sloppier your shades get here. Okay, we're going to circle then, based on our step 3, we're going to circle in groups based on the numerator of the divisor. So we're going to do 2 8s. I never wrote my problem. This is 11 8s divided by 2 8s servings. So we're going to circle in groups of 2 8s. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't have another whole circle, so we're not going to do it. Our answer is 5 whole. Then you ask yourself, how many does it take to make a whole circle? Our answer is 2. So this is 1 part out of the 2 that we need to make a whole circle. So how many servings does she have? She has 5.5 servings. 5.5 servings. All right, so the steps are the same once you find the common denominator. And remember, if your number on top is larger, if it's a mixed number, you're going to need to draw a whole another set of whatever your denominator is. Okay, let's look at one more. Now we're going to imagine that Xavier, Molly's friend, purchased the same amount of strawberries, 11 8 cups. Must be the package it comes in, I guess. If he eats 3/4 of a cup of strawberries per serving, How many servings will he have? Okay, so we're going to do eighths again, and we need 11 eighths. So we're going to draw the same model that we did before. I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to split it in half. That's 4. And then I'm going to split it in half again. That might get a little confusing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And you know they're barely even though. And I know that's only 8 of them, so I need more to get to 11. And then half again. There's 4, and then half again would be 8. Okay. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, and on. I didn't do this in my first couple examples, but this is definitely something that I would like for you to do. I know it's monotonous and it's work, but that's okay. All right, step 2, shade based on the numerator of the first number. Our problem, I forgot to write, is 11/8 divided by 3/4. Hope that's okay to see in pencil there. Okay, so I'm going to shade in 11/8. I'm going to start at 11 and go backwards so I don't have to count. Sometimes it's nice to just shade and not have to think. Just a quick shade. They don't have to be completely filled in or neatly even filled in. Just as long as you can tell they're shaded and tell where your lines are between them. Okay, now I'm going to circle in groups based on the numerator of my divisor, the second number. So I'm going to circle in groups of 3/4. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't do our first step. Our first step was to find a common denominator because we can't circle 3/4. We have eighths. Okay, let's find a common denominator. So a common denominator is going to be 8. Oh, whew. Good thing, because we should do that before we start drawing the tape diagram. Come on, Miss Jaworski, follow your own steps here. Okay, find the common denominator first. So let's pretend like we didn't do this yet. We haven't drawn anything here, but we're starting our problem. Okay, I am so sorry. Okay, so we have 11/8, and we're going to divide by, change it to a common denominator, so we'd have 6/8. Okay, now let's draw our diagram based on eighths. Oh, good job. And then we'll shade the boxes, which we did. And now we're going to circle in groups of 6/8. Oh my goodness, what was I thinking? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, let me circle with a darker color here. Okay, remember to make those circles nice and neat on the line here. Kind of went crazy after that. And then I'm going to need 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have 6 more, so I'm going to stop. My answer then is 1 whole. I need 6 of them to make it a whole number. So 6 is going to be my denominator, and I have how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts out of 6. So he would have 1 5/6 servings. He almost has 2 servings. 1 5/6 servings. Not to worry, we will do a bunch of these in class tomorrow, but please make sure that you have these steps, and please make sure that you don't do what your teacher did, but that you start here and make sure it has a common denominator first. That ruined my whole idea there. Okay, at least you know now what to do. Luckily, we didn't have to start over. If you have questions, please put them in your ISN.